You guys, we heard that that we had to hold the house for the bar line. Are you guys lit or what? What's happening? Okay, we'll see as it goes on. Ben, hi.
Hey, thanks for doing this with me.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be sitting here with you and
Likewise.
talking to you about Honeymind, your third studio album, which we've all had a chance to listen to and digest, but we're gonna discuss a little bit. We're gonna get into some audience questions. Like they said, the ushers have the cards, and we're gonna ask your questions. Write your name so you can get credit, because credit's a big deal. I read that this is the album that you wished you had growing up. Is that true?
I think so, to a certain extent. Like, I think, you know, I had some queer role models, like singing about love and...
Come to my window.
Exactly.
That's it, yeah.
We had Elton and like Sparkles and Feathers, and
Sure.
It was, you know, there was always at least a thin veil of coding or like, you know, filter, I guess. But I'm like a super mushy, vulnerable, sort of romantically introspective person, and so I love like James Taylor and Carole King and Paul Simon and lots of sort of like softer palettes in terms of music, and I didn't necessarily find a queer voice in that realm growing up, and so I was super excited and inspired by the idea of like making something that could fit in that sonic world, but that was like very expressly from a queer perspective. I didn't think that that was something I had felt before. So yeah, I think I would have listened to it as a kid, I would hope.
But do you feel like that's kind of a thing that informs what you artistically are looking to do, maybe at this point in your career or moving forward, and just looking at not just your music, but the choices that you're making as an actor or a writer?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I like to make sure that there's like a balance in the sense that I don't want every story that I tell to have to be a queer story, but I do really enjoy the opportunity to tell like a nuanced, like authentic queer story, and to have queer actors playing queer characters is a really great thing to see. So
100%.
I certainly,
we love it.
We love it. And so, yeah, I mean, I think obviously those, whenever I see a project that has the capability to like tell a story like that, it jumps to the top of the interest list for sure, but would love to keep juggling both types of things.
See, I don't ever want to juggle both things, like for myself personally. Like, do you know what I mean?
You just want to make gay stuff?
I mean, stuff for gay stuff, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Girls Five, yeah.
Yeah, Girls Five Eva.
Like for my gay audience, yes, 100%. No, but I mean, actually, I really only want to make stuff or be in stuff or do stuff that I want to watch or that I would have wanted to watch as a kid.
Totally.
And that's like my motivating factor. So I thought it was really interesting when I read that, because I was like,
Totally. I mean, I think I was like quite fearful as a kid. So like there's some things I would now watch that I would have been too afraid to watch. But other than that, yes, yes, I think that's a good picker. I think like things that would have brought you joy or that do bring you joy or are interesting or compelling to you, like as a viewer, is like almost always what you want to be in.
yes, I think that's true.
Or listen to.
Well, let's talk about Honeymind. Talk to me about working with Dave Cobb, who is a producer that's worked with Brandi Carlile, John Prine, Sturgill Simpson, Jason Isbell, who I love. I mean, there's like iconic sort of Americana country Chris Stapleton. Mm-hmm. What was that process like for you with him?
It was cool. It was scary at first because comes from such a different world.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, it doesn't feel exactly like what I would think your vibe would be.
I at first was sort of skeptical of it too. I was trying to express to like my label, to Interscope, what it is I was wanting to make and the kinds of songs that were coming through, and that as I started to write, it was like living very much in this world. And Sam Reback, who's an amazing A&R guy at Interscope and a great mentor, just sort of said, like, you know, who'd be perfect for this.
How big of a part do they have, your A&R guy, right? Like, I'm so curious about this because I just don't know, when you're writing an album, like, how much of an influence does he have on what you're gonna do?
I think it's artist to artist dependent. I think for me, like, it's most helpful to me when I come with what is organically coming out and what it is I want to make, and then have guidance as to like what the best way is to make that, as opposed to like, I've never been in a situation, at least personally at the label, where they've been like, this is the type of music we'd like for you to do. It's always been like, this is what I'm writing and this is the record I'd like to make, so what would you advise in terms of making that come to fruition? So for me, I came to him, they're also very instrumental in helping me meet the right co-writers and setting me up with people that I've always wanted to write with. And so,
well, and you work with amazing co-writers.
Yes, really, really amazing co-writers.
Hillary Lindsay?
Yes, Hillary Lindsay, Alex Hope, who I've worked with for a long time, is another queer writer who wrote Grow As We Go with me on my first album, and they wrote I Want to Love You But I Don't with me on my second album, and I've worked with them for many years, and this was the first time we wrote like consistently for a whole week together, and they have, I think, 4 or 5 songs on the album. So they were sort of my primary co-writer. But a lot of great Nashville folk like Hillary Lindsay and Natalie Hemby. And
where did you write it?
Largely in Nashville. I wrote a couple things when we were first starting out in LA and New York, just while I was home. And then when I sort of figured out what the record really was, I took 2 different, longer, more extended trips to Nashville and wrote like a majority of the record during those 2 trips.
That's really interesting. And like, do you like rent a house and you like live in the house and you like write your music and you're like feeling it? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So fun.
Actually, I was supposed to, right before the pandemic happened in March of 2020, I had a plan. I had like an Airbnb ready to go, and I had already this great desire to go to Nashville and work with a lot of these writers. So I was planning to be there for like 4 weeks, and I had it all set up, and I had sessions. This was like in end of February or something, and then I never got to do it. And then because of the pandemic and the way that life changes, I ended up making a totally different record. But this time I actually got to go and live in the Airbnb and have the experience and meet the writers and sort of live there for a second.
Would you say that that second album then is like your fugue state pandemic album, and this is like the album that was meant to happen had the pandemic not?
Yeah, to a certain extent. The second one was like an escape. Like I was listening to a lot of like Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins and like a lot of like 80s and 90s pop, and like I think I just wanted to make something like bright and tempo filled, and like because we were also like trapped, that's why I veered so energetically, I think. But this feels a lot more like sort of like a homecoming stylistically. Just feels a little bit more like I've sort of found my footing, and also we'll get to Noah, I'm sure, but because of my relationship with Noah and because of...
We'll get to Noah, I'm sure. Oh, I am sure. We will get to Noah. Okay, yes,
But because I was farther into that relationship and like we got married and everything, like this, I was able to write about things on this album that I think I wouldn't have been prepared to write about had I tried to do it the last time. So everything happens for a reason. Obviously the pandemic did not happen for a reason, but... But you know what I mean? The ricochet reactions of things happen.
No, creatively, yes. And like creatively in your career, I mean, I literally was, I was talking about this with a friend this morning, which is that all things being equal, you never know. And like, you are where you are because of all of these things, and it's great. It's great. We're here, Honeymind. I was about to like launch into a thing about myself, and then I realized like that's not my job right now. You know what I mean? So I had to redirect, and I'm sorry, that was awkward, but...
Let's return to that.
We could. It was literally about, okay guys, really? It was literally about how I was talking to Eric Gurian, who's Tina Fey's producing partner today, about how my QVC talk show got picked up for a second season, and he was like, see, we just didn't know that, what did he say? Something, you shouldn't be on every day of the week, because Tina and Eric produced my first talk show on E! That was canceled. And I was like, well, sure, but also, you know, Eric, if that show hadn't been canceled, I wouldn't have moved to New York and been on Girls 5 Eva, and like, now I get both. So it like really works out.
The domino,
you know what I mean?
Yes, the dominoes are for a reason.
So that was my story about me, sorry. But I want to talk, I watched the Andrew video again today because in preparation, because I had seen it when it first came out, and it's so nostalgic and cute and sweet, and I love it, and it's directed by Sam Wrench, who worked with Taylor Swift, and what was that process like creatively for you? The song is so, I really love that song. That song is so sweet, and
thanks.
I just am curious in terms of, because I know you directed Cherry on Top, the video for Cherry on Top, which we'll get to Noah, guys, don't worry. But creatively with Sam, did you have any how was that process?
Yeah, I think in the writing of Andrew, like I had a very clear kind of like experience or experiences that was drawn from, and like this like very particular kind of melancholy that comes from when you're queer and you're growing up and you fall for straight people and you develop feelings that you don't even really know what they are yet, and they're just so misplaced and there's like nowhere to put them, and there's nobody to blame, like there's no villain in that situation because it's not anyone's fault that like the chemistry just isn't possible. And I think when you're a young person, it's hard to understand that, so you're like, it must be me. And so you like internalize all this stuff that like just is not yours to internalize. And so I knew pretty clearly what I wanted the video to be and to express. And so I wrote like a pretty detailed treatment of like, I think it should be this boy and he's around middle school age, and it's, I want there to be a lot of kindness with this friendship, and it's not about this guy like scorning him, it's just about not knowing what to do with this feeling. And Sam just really understood it and interpreted it kind of exactly as I saw it, and was a great and very easy collaborator. And the kid that we found was so fantastic. And,
so sweet. Have you guys seen the video? It's really sweet.
It's on my Instagram.
And it's also on YouTube.
That's true.
That's where I watch it.
Do people still go to YouTube?
Honey, the kids go to YouTube.
Okay. Cool.
I know you're 30 now.
31.
I know you're 31 now. You directed Cherry on Top with, you directed your husband in it.
Sort of pretty much with my husband. We sort of did it together.
You did?
Yeah.
It's really cute. It's really cute. It made me believe in love in a time where I'm not really believing in love right now. You know what I mean?
You gotta
No,
believe
you guys,
in love.
I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine. No, but it's really, really sweet. How much fun did you guys have?
So much fun. I feel like the whole thing sort of hinged on, we don't take lightly like putting our relationship up for display.
Well, and curious about it. It's hard. It's a hard thing to navigate.
100%. And so we try to be very choosy with like the arena in which we want to do that. And this song, I wrote all kinds of other concepts for the song, and I was like, maybe it's about a band of lesbians playing at a bar in like Altadena. Like maybe it's like I was like trying to think of other things that made it feel the way I wanted it to feel. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's just about the joy of being in this particular relationship. And so I came to him and I was like, what would you feel if it was us and we just literally spend a day around LA in this car they're gonna let us drive, and we try to actually just have a good time and capture that and not like put a bunch of stuff on it. And if we watch it back and like it feels icky and it doesn't feel real to us, we do not have to put it out. And he was like, yeah, let's think about what activities are nice for camera but we would actually do, and let's try to have a day
Picnicking.
Exactly, picnicking, driving around in my beautiful vintage car that's totally mine.
Yes, with the personalized license plate.
Yes, with the Honeymind
Says
license
Honeymind.
plate. And we watched it back and we really liked it, and I think I'm grateful that he was willing to put himself out there in that way, and I feel like it brings the song to life the way I wanted to, and so yeah. And it was easy to do it together because we both had similar ideas of what felt icky and what felt nice.
You have to follow your gut when it comes to that stuff.
Yes.
I will just offer to you as a person who has exposed themselves completely online in many ways. And also just apparently here tonight. I think you do. You just have to follow your gut.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Noah. How much of an influence was your sort of new husband? You're in the first 6 months, I think, right? When did you guys get married?
I got married a month ago.
Wait, what? It was just a month ago?
Yeah.
Is that true?
It's brand new.
Wait,
Sorry,
what?
it's just this one.
Now you always will know your left from your right.
And I was having issues with that, so that's good.
Honestly.
I mean, it's the best. It also feels like not different at all in a really nice way.
Yeah.
Like I think I've known him for over a decade, so like we've been through the ringer and we've had all the different versions of this relationship. And by the time we decided to do this, we were already cohabitating and felt pretty much in sync about what we wanted our lives to look like. And so it didn't feel like suddenly we're shifting into this brand new gear that is totally unfamiliar to us. Obviously, there's some excitement, and it's nice to be like legally protected, especially as two gay people. But like, it doesn't.
And let's all vote so that we can maintain that. I'm sorry, I just had to throw that in there.
Just saying.
Just, yeah, I have this pin, guys. This is a Kamala.
Yes. But yeah, but I think that Honeymind was a lot about realizing that I was like, in a deeper way, that like, this is really my life person, and how does that change the way that I approach the world, and how do you protect that sort of a relationship, and how does that change your relationship to yourself? And I think that like switching into that highest gear of like, this is like, we're gonna try to really do this forever, just is like a different kind of love song to me than like a
longing.
Yeah.
Or an
like
unrequited.
Exactly, or even like an exciting, like passionate, dramatic, unhealthy, like, which make
ups and
great
downs.
songs too, for sure.
For sure, we need those songs.
Totally, but I think it's
But we
also,
can't live in our marriages in those songs.
That's right. That's right. Once a month.
Wait, I mean, like, also, like, guys get hormonal cycles too, I guess.
True?
Once a month, right?
Is that right?
I don't know. They must.
Are we coining that?
I'm just saying, if you're like, once a month, we can have that. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you guys must you must go through hormonal cycles too. I'm sure they do. I don't know, guys. I don't research it.
No, we don't do anything. We don't work hard, and we have no, like, truly, our bodies are like way easier. It's not fair.
It isn't fair. You also have all the research, so you know all about them. Anyway, can we talk about the residency at the Palace Theater?
Yes.
How many of you got to be there? I know she was there. She was there. They were there. How many nights did you go? One. What? That's great.
One is plenty.
One is plenty. Casey Musgraves, Cynthia Erivo, Kristen Chenoweth, Meghan Trainor, Honey, Kristen Bell, Tori Kelly. What was that like? Do you want to do a Vegas residency? Let's talk all about it.
Totally. I mean, that's on
Really?
Yeah, someday, of course. Don't we all? Isn't that sort of the end game, like, as a singer?
Is it? I don't know. Tell me, is it?
I don't know. I mean, yes, I would love to do that. And I would also really love to have like a variety show, like an old school Judy Garland
want you to
show.
have a variety show.
So to me, this was like multiple dreams all happening at the
Realized.
same time, because it was like the Broadway community is like the most important community to me, and I
Yes.
feel lucky to be in it. And so anytime I enter into it or do anything in it, I want to do it as well as I possibly can. And so that was like the first and foremost ask. But I think just getting to do this album in like that kind of a setting and like tell the stories and set up the songs in a very direct, personal way just felt like exactly the way I wanted to present this record, which is sort of where the idea for the show came from in the first place. And then on top of that, I was like, what a great opportunity now to create this community of guests and have surprises and start this sort of more variety show, old school feeling of like not knowing who's gonna come out and singing all different genres, obviously mostly Broadway, but like a lot of different genres. And it just was sort of like all the things that I love in one, in a way that I haven't experienced in my career before. So it was such an amazing like intersection of just so many different things I really love that feel very authentic to me, kind of combined. So I'd love to do more stuff like that that sort of brings all that together.
You did like a tour of it as well?
Yes. I took it on the road.
How many cities did you go to? Do you remember?
Maybe like 18 or 20.
It's a lot of cities.
It was really fun. It was also like, I'm not used to like doing something like that first and then getting to go on the road. Usually when you're going on the road, you have to like kind of find the show as you go. But we spent 3 weeks here sort of having like a very high stakes preview process. and then by the time we were on the road, we were all
How do you get
close
guests on the road?
I didn't really do guests on the road.
That's a bummer though.
Well, yeah, it's tough. It's tougher.
Not that you're not a draw, I'm just saying it's fun when somebody else is with you.
Well, I did have Kelsey Ballerini in Nashville at the Ryman Auditorium, which was really fun. And then I did the Greek in LA, and I had Leve, the amazing jazz singer, sang with me.
Yes, I know.
And so, yeah, I'm sorry, you have kids, so you know.
I have a 16-year-old.
I wasn't like fully hip to it, and then I
You know my children are the biggest fans. You know this.
Of me?
Yes.
That's
Remember at the Mean Girls premiere?
Oh, yes,
They were
I-
only excited about you.
That's very nice.
Literally, my 11-year-old was like, I really don't like watching you, but Ben Platt is sitting in front of us. And I was like, okay.
That's what I hope my children say to me someday.
Oh,
But
yeah, they will.
But yeah, it was really fun and like a little less intense to take it on the road. Also, with the guest thing, you're learning a new song every night, so that added a little bit of panic to it. Yeah, because
Don't you love it? Aren't you like a Marie's Crisis guy?
Of course.
Yes!
I love Marie's Crisis, but I know every song at Marie's Crisis.
Sure,
And
fair.
these were some songs being brought in by the guests that I wasn't as familiar with sometimes. Sometimes I was, but...
They're like a bluegrass, like old-timey what?
Yeah, or like Meghan Trainor, we did one of her hits that I didn't fully know all the lyrics to. Or also, there are songs that sometimes you think you know all the lyrics, like Lay Me Down, the Sam Smith song that I sang with Sam Smith, is like one of the greatest songs ever that I've always loved. But then you're on stage and you're like, do I know every word of this verse?
You do not.
Like,
you don't.
I don't think I do. So that added just a little layer of nerves. So it was nice on the road to not have to worry about that. But it was it was a blast. It was amazing. And I only got hip to the idea of like, maybe I should have a teleprompter on like the end of the third week.
Wait, that's kind of genius.
Yeah, I was like, what have I been doing this whole time?
Yeah, that is
I like to torture myself.
karaoke, exactly. I mean, even still, sometimes I'm like, I can't do this. I don't remember how it goes. You know what I mean? Like when you're in karaoke.
Do you know this game that people are playing now, like online and stuff, where you have to face away from the karaoke thing and you have to guess what the song is?
Oh, yeah.
That has really reignited karaoke for me. Because as a singer, I don't love doing karaoke because you go and people expect you to like throw down. And I'm like, I'm very drunk and I don't want to do that. So it's like the game element makes it really a fun thing for me. But we can get into karaoke another time.
I mean, we can get into whatever we want.
We can also go after this. But
I actually was invited to karaoke tonight.
Go. This is your sign to go. Do you want to give everybody? Do you want to tell everyone the address of where you're going to be?
I don't know which one. I don't know where it's going to be. But wait, and so the thing is that we don't face the screen and we just have to guess the lyrics.
You have to guess what the song is and try to sing along without help until you've got the right song. It's really fun. Anyway.
Have you ever forgotten the lyrics to one of your own songs on stage?
Yes, but only because I got so comfortable doing it that you sort of slightly autopilot in the middle of songs sometimes because you're like, oh, I know this and I'm just gonna like live in this moment, whatever, and then suddenly you forget where you are. So yes, but only in the way of like, you know, when you say something so many times that it becomes gibberish to you.
Yes.
So if you sing a song enough times, you get to a line and you're like, that's not the words, but it is.
It's like how you forget, or like how sometimes you're like, wait, the name Barbara. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
You guys know what I'm saying.
Of course.
It becomes gibberish.
Or in the case of Streisand, it's Barbara. No, Barbara.
Barbara.
It's just Barbara.
Barbara.
Thank you.
What's your favorite Barbara song?
I mean, my parents'
To
wedding.
sing.
To sing. Oy. Like, I don't even know. I mean, like, Papa, can you hear me? This is so dramatic, you know what I mean? But my parents' wedding song was Evergreen, so I love Evergreens for that reason.
Oh, your dad's here.
Yeah, my dad's here somewhere.
Would you like to sing Evergreen? No, I'm kidding. I have a question for you. There's a TikToker named Malik Bilbrew who does...
Is he the one who does the impressions
of you? And you have been leaving like funny and very supportive comments, and everyone hates impressions of themselves. But I'm curious if you're just like flattered, if you really think it's good, if you have notes.
I think it's good. I mean, I've only seen the two that I've seen, but I thought I think it's a form of flattery, and it's like if I have enough of a vocal quality that it can be imitated, like I'm cementing my place in the vocal pantheon.
Do you have notes though? Like when you like watch it, are you like, it's a little? Do you know what I'm saying? I would have notes. I have notes.
You have notes?
Not for yours, but for
okay.
my own.
Well, if I watched a little closer, I'm sure I would. But it's the kind of thing where you know, I'm glad to know that it exists, and I'm flattered, but I don't want to go on a deep dive, if that makes sense.
On the musician side of things, do you feel pressure by the TikTokification of music?
Yes, very much so. And I think in this album, I was trying to very decidedly not succumb to that and not make music that was like soundbite at a time, or that I could have envisioned in the writing of in the songwriting in the room, be like, this will be great on TikTok, or like, this is the line that TikTok will love. Like, I think that's like poison for songwriting. So like, it's great when it happens organically and there's just like a song that's a beautiful song or a really great song like Espresso or like, you know what I mean, like a great pop song that just takes off.
To be honest with you, all of a sudden, like my 11-year-old was like singing Adrienne Lenker, and I was like, how do you know Adrienne
TikTok.
Lenker? And she's like, huge on TikTok, and I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Like, but it really has changed sort of the game.
So much. There's a lot of focus on it because it does explode things. Like it takes songs, like the whole like Kate Bush thing was incredible. Like it takes songs and just like skyrockets them. So yes, you have to sort of be aware of it, but it was funny because when the album was coming out, there was that weird kind of drama with TikTok and like Universal Music.
Oh, that's right.
Where we weren't even allowed to put the songs on TikTok to be anyway. So I was like, why haven't I even been thinking about this? I'm not even allowed to put these on other than like covering them acoustically, which is what I already like to do because I like to sing the songs live. So I think it's something that it doesn't really resonate for me. It's just not my lane as an artist. I think there are some people who are doing like more of like a hard pop leaning thing, or who are in a younger generation who like it's an amazing vehicle for them. It's a huge part of, you know, Chapel's rise. I love Chapel. I've loved her for many years, and so like it's amazing to see her explode. So I think it's like a valid and amazing thing. It's just not. I think it can't be something that factors into like the making of the music. I think that's when it gets scary.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I will say that I feel like Honeymind feels very timeless in just the greatest way, you know? Like, it does feel like something I could have listened to when I was younger. It feels like something that is going to like stand the test of time in the tone of it.
Touch wood.
Touch wood, guys. Did you do that? Do you have other things? What are your other things?
Well, you know that touch wood comes from like touching the cross, I think. So if I'm a Jew, so for me it's touching the ark, like Noah's Ark. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like if there's a flood, you want to get on the ark, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I'm on the ark, honey.
You're driving the ark.
Okay. Wait, that's amazing. Do you feel like this Americana vibe that you've sort of gotten into in Honeymind is a thing that you're going to continue to explore in your personal music?
Totally. I mean, I think I always try to let like whatever is coming just come, and then as opposed to like having a predestined like idea of what I want to make. But I do think it's felt like a great fit for just like my emotional vocabulary. And I think a lot of songs that just are plaintive and guitar based and like emotionally forward or narrative just are Americana by default, sort of. So I think it's a great space from which to write. But I always think that there'll be other influences in what I'm doing. There's always like a bit of theatricality and a bit of, you know, balladeering, and it's always like a little bit of a crossroads. But yeah, I love it as like a home base for sure.
Wait, look, I see her. She's going up and down, or him, or them. I don't know. Wait, guys, I can't see. But the usher is there, and if you have, they're ushers. If you have questions, I see them. You guys pass them in. We got to look. They have to vet them first. You know what I mean? So get them in. Can you say anything about the Merrily movie?
I actually have it here to show. No, okay. I mean,
I just am like so curious about the process. I'm curious about every part of it. And I just am like I don't want to.
We're going to get so burnt out on talking about it because it's not for like 16 years.
I know. No, we're not going to get burnt out on talking about it. I really don't think we will, Ben.
It's an amazing, like magical Sondheim checkpoint that I get to have in my life, and that's sort of the way it's like a short film that we get to make every 2 years with one of my best friends, Beanie Feldstein, and with Paul Mescal, and it's like just, you know, one of the great, I mean, any Sondheim is one of the great pieces, but I think it's a piece that really has always struggled to find its footing. It had an amazing production, obviously, this last season that was fantastic.
Gorgeous.
But I really do think that there's something really special to be gained with this particular material about watching the aging process in real time, and so I believe so firmly in the idea, and one can only hope that like we all make it that far.
Touch the arc, okay.
So that's all I have to say.
I mean, like truly, like the arc. You know what I mean?
So hopefully we're all here and we make it to the end. But I think it has the potential to be a beautiful thing.
I'm so excited. Well, speaking of aging, Ben Platt, you know, I've been doing this since I was a teenager, and you started not long after your teen years. I mean, how old were you?
Well, I started working in theater when I was 9.
Okay, well, that's preteen. Yes.
But I guess my first sort of like proper entrance to the scene was Pitch Perfect when I was 18.
It is, I mean, in some ways, well, it's different because I have like a filmic record of my face from when I was 18, and I'm just curious about, as you are 31 now. The first time I saw you was in Dear Evan Hansen. You know, Greta Gerwig and I came and sat. We didn't say hi. We didn't say hi after because I didn't know how to do that. That wasn't a thing that people knew how to do. I didn't know how to.
You're literally the only ones that did not.
That's what people say.
Hi.
I lived in LA. I lived in LA. I didn't know. I didn't know.
That's your
things.
excuse?
That was my excuse. Yeah, 100%. By the way, I bought the tickets like on Barry's. Do you guys remember like Barry's tickets?
No.
Has anyone? It was like pre-StubHub. It was like some guy
affiliated
named
with
Barry. I'm not even kidding you. It's like how I got like Book of Mormon tickets too. It was just like literally a guy named Barry. He had a phone number. And you would call him and you would get a ticket, but you paid a lot.
And now he has this amazing boot camp.
No, but for real, guys, I did used to go to the actual Barry's boot camp. Like actual.
The original?
Barry. Like Barry was my teacher at Barry's boot camp in West Hollywood.
You've had a lot of important Barrys in your life.
Barry's tickets, Barry's boot camp. I know Barry's
But
tickets.
anyway, you came and you didn't say hi.
I didn't say hi. But anyway, my question is more about, also, I was like embarrassed. I was like sobbing and like a mess. And my question is more about aging.
Of course.
That as you age, do you consider the roles that you play, like in any, are you considering different eras of your life as you're getting older? Is it hard to look back on things for you at all? Sometimes it's hard for me. I'm just being honest.
It's only hard for me in the sense of, like, as you get older, you gain some perspective. And I don't have all of it yet, but I have some of it. And I think I look back at moments in my career, Evan Hansen on stage, for example, that were like once in a lifetime, things that don't come around a lot.
And you don't know it at the time.
Exactly. There's just no way to know. And I, you know, I don't regret it the way anything has happened because it's led me to where I am. But there's so many things I wish I knew to take in, or knew how to handle better, or knew how to take care of myself better, or just like things that I wish I knew on a deeper level when I look back at those things. So it's not that I don't want to watch them because like it makes me cringe to think of like my performance or like the way that I look. Like,
right.
Honestly, anytime I look at myself younger, I'm like, God, I looked so young.
Yeah, I know.
But it's more about like what I know I was thinking or what I wasn't thinking. You know what I mean? It's like wishing.
And how you felt about yourself.
Exactly, or what I was focused on, or so that if anything makes it hard, it's that. But I try to use that as like lessons for how to go forward and what kinds of things to take as I move on.
Like what?
Like just trying, within reason, being in a privileged position where I am not having to always just work to work, and that I can have any kind of agency. I still don't have like all the agency that I would love, but I definitely have some. And so I think anytime that I can do good on that privilege by doing something that I think is actually meaningful, or that I really believe in, or that will actually bring me joy on a day-to-day basis to do, and not just because it's on paper the thing that I should want to do or the move I should make as a professional or career-wise. Like, obviously, I don't want to be stupid, but I think, you know, we're all like, you know, we lost Gavin. I'm sure many of people here know Gavin Creel and loved Gavin Creel a couple weeks ago. And among the thousands and thousands of lessons that we all learned from him, and that I learned from him, knowing him my whole life, is just that he always did things first and foremost for joy, and found the joy in things, and that was his. It was so easy to see when you spend time with him that was his picker, and like that was what he was leading with, not just in work, but just as a person. So I think that in the last couple of weeks, among many things, has set back in of like, we are here for such a limited amount of time, and it's like, if you ever have the option to seek out joy, like you should be doing that.
Oh, I love
what I mean?
that. Yes. We have to run towards joy at every opportunity.
Arms outstretched.
Arms outstretched.
Pants off. No, I'm kidding.
Well, but I mean, let's talk about that wedding. Running towards joy, honey. I saw it on Vogue.com.
You mean Carrie and Big's wedding? You're talking about my wedding.
I'm talking about your wedding.
It was great. It was really fun.
Let's talk about the beautiful Shabbat dinner.
We had a beautiful Shabbat dinner at Angel Oranzant's Foundation, which is downtown. It's like
I had to look it up. I'm like, that's where I want to get married there. That was incredible.
SJP did get married there.
Okay. In her black dress.
Of course.
Obviously, duh.
Chic. But yeah, it was like it's like an old synagogue facade. It just felt like a great combination of like New York and Judaism, and Noah's family has like been in New York his whole life, and just like their kind of aesthetic essence mixed with my family's tradition, and it was wonderful. It was great. My friends made nice speeches. My family sang a Sondheim medley, of course. Rewritten to be about me. My siblings, I should say, sang a Sondheim medley. I sobbed.
Is that like a thing that happens at every family get together? There's a parody song, a parody version of a song that happens?
Yeah, that's why in all of the photos from all of the events of my past, I'm just sobbing in all of them. But yeah, my bar mitzvah, they sang a medley from Company. And it was, Company?
I saw it, yes.
And it's like, Bobby, baby.
Yeah.
So it was Benny, baby, Benny, booby. Phone rings, door chimes, in comes Benjamin. That was the song. And so this was sort of like a level up for my wedding. It was really beautiful.
That's really cute.
And then Noah's siblings just like spoke like regular people.
They're a little bit like, well, okay. Our family joined, a little bit of
the Von Trapps.
The Von Trapps. Well, actually, Sarah Kay, you get credit for this question, wanted to know what your first dance was and says mazel.
Thank you, Sarah Kay. Our first dance was to a song by our favorite band in the world. They're called Muna. Yes. And it was an acoustic version of their song called I Know a Place, which is a very special song to us. And it was sung by them. They came and did a set.
Obviously, it was sung by them.
It was. It was really cool. It was like the coolest. That was the coolest part. I really transcended. Sweat through. We had doubles of our shirts, thankfully, and I sweat through the first one.
Wait, that's amazing.
It was really awesome. But at one point, Katie Gavin, who's the lead singer, gave me the mic because she was trying to involve me and have me sing, and I listened back on some iPhone footage, and it's literally the worst I've ever sounded in my entire life. I was not in a position to be singing.
This is interesting. I like this question. It's from the live stream. Hi, live stream. I didn't even know that was happening.
Oh my God, where? Hi.
I don't know. But I guess we're always being live streamed, if we're being honest.
That's right. The phones are listening to us at all times.
It's so true. In my English class, we had to pick a song and explain the meaning to us. I chose Right Kind of Reckless.
Oh.
What does that song mean to you?
What a nice thing. What's this person's name? Does it say?
We don't know, just live stream.
Thank you thank you. That's so nice. So Right Kind of Reckless is the opening song of the album, and it's the first song I wrote when I got to Nashville with Natalie Hemby, who's an amazing writer. And I really wanted to write about, I was sort of at this point, because I was settling into this relationship in a hardcore way, where I was still feeling somewhat young, but maturing and entering kind of a new phase at the same time, and trying to grapple with how do you keep some of the spontaneity and the joy and the silliness and the naivety of being a young person and not let go of that because it's so special and important, but also embrace stability and maturity and not be running around crazy like a chicken with your head cut off for the rest of your life. So the idea of how do you find the balance of those two things, and then sort of in the form of a love song. So it's saying to the person that you're with how you want to balance those things in order to be a good partner for them. To me, that's what that song is about. And I thought it was a great on-track to the whole thing.
Do you have a feeling I know some songwriters that I'm friends with really do feel once they put the song into the world, their meaning ceases to exist for it. They let it go. Do you feel that way, or do you hold on to your own?
I do hold on to, that's an interesting thing. I do hold on to it always because I'll always remember the inception of it and why we did it. But there is it does a change because it's it starts as your little private thing, and I would play it for Noah and a couple of friends, but it's just a thing that exists as part of your own story, and then it just becomes something that you can't control, which is the beautiful part too, is that people then take it and run with it, and it becomes about their lives, and they sing it at their weddings and their proposals and their graduations, and that's the best part. But there does have to be a level of, which I've learned now, this being my third record, like there has to be a willingness to sort of let go and not overly control, which is hard for me because I'm very much a control freak and I like to really...
Really?
You couldn't guess? And to just like let people interpret how they will and connect how they will and not strong arm what you want it to mean or be, which is easier said than done. But I do think there is some truth to that thing of like, it suddenly is not what it was.
Right, and it like ceases to be your own
secret thing.
Personal song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like, I guess it's like writing poetry and releasing it or any kind of art that you would make.
Totally, but then performing it, I think it takes on yet another life, especially because I've spent so much time performing other people's music that it allows me to establish like a healthy remove from it in the sense that like I can enjoy it as a means of performing and a means of singing and a way to share the story as opposed to having to like relive each experience every time I sing each song. It can just become part of a little more presentational and a means with which to like connect with an audience as opposed to like a deeply scary personal thing all the time.
Yes.
So I love to sing the songs live. But when I'm writing, I'm not necessarily thinking about the TikTok, but I am thinking about like, I can't wait to sing this live, or how would I sing this live, or what would be the instrumentation live, or how do I record it in a way where it won't sound so different when I sing it live? Like, that's always in my mind, because to me, that's like first and foremost what I love the most is the actual singing of the songs. So the live part is my favorite part.
Oh, I love that so much. Okay, here's another question. Wait, Sabrina Schachtner.
What's up, Sabrina?
This is my third time seeing you speak here at 9, what did we say it was?
It's 92NY now.
Yeah, 92NY. We backstage, we were like, they've rebranded from 92nd
It's chic,
Street
I like
Live.
it.
We like, and yeah.
It's really chic.
92NY. This is the third time Sabrina's been here to see you speak.
That's amazing. I think this is the fifth, so that's like a majority. So that's impressive.
How do you think Honeymind differs and stands alone from your previous projects or acts as a continuation? That's a great question.
Beautiful question. Thank you.
So thoughtful.
Wow. Those other two times really, I mean, I can feel them in the question. So I would say, sort of as I've alluded to, I think this, just because the music I make will always reflect where I'm at in my life, so I think this album felt the most like an arrival in the sense of, not to say that I won't continue to evolve and change and maybe I'll put out like a hard rock thing, like who knows, but like, I mean, I don't think so, but like, I'm not trying to limit myself.
We don't know.
K-pop, but I love Cat's Eye. Does anyone love Cat's Eye? Maybe not totally the crowd, but yeah. If you haven't watched Pop Star Academy, it's amazing. Anyways, I think that this felt like, because I have had now experience with my first album with writing, like having just come out of the world of musical theater and very much connected stylistically to that world and still trying to figure out what's my relationship with that in terms of my own music. And then the second album, as I said, being like very much specific to that time of being in the pandemic and
like
that experience.
Reactionary almost.
Exactly. This is sort of the first time where I didn't have any agenda and I didn't feel any pressure to like make sure that each song was a vocal showcase or make sure that each song like was fitting a certain theme. Like it just felt a little bit more like authentically reflective of where I was at. So I hope to feel that way successively about each album as I get older, that it feels closer and closer to that. I guess that's sort of the pursuit in the first place. But to me, this feels different, to answer the question, in the sense that it's the one that I can imagine listening to for the longest time or returning to for the longest time without feeling some sort of deep disconnection from who that person was, which isn't to say that I don't think there's great things in the first two records. It's just I already feel like such a different person from those, and obviously can hope to continue to evolve, but I do think a lot of the sentiment shared is sentiment I hope to maintain.
That's a great answer, guys. Let's see.
Be picky.
I am picky. That's right. What is your Yom Kippur breakfast meal? Haley wants to know. I'm so curious too.
To be fair, I'm going to be sort of a bad Jew this year because I'm going to see my husband in spelling bee at the Kennedy Center.
Woo! So exciting.
It's going to be amazing. So I'll be fasting in my seat. But usually I go to breakfast at my parents' house in LA, and I grew up going to their breakfast every year. And to me, it's like carbs and dairy only, which is, I'm not really sure why we've like decided as a people that that's what we want to eat after not eating for 24 hours. And then it's like, let's do the thing that none of our stomachs can do. But that's just now what I crave at the end of the day. So it's like sesame bagel with cream cheese, blintzes, kugel, like maybe if there's
you go sweet kugel.
I go sweet dairy carb load.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Like I don't think I've ever had a piece of chicken at breakfast in my life. Or even like a salad.
Controversial.
Is that really? I feel like that's kind of a regular. Have I been living in denial?
No, I mean, no, I was going to ask you a controversial question.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Guys, this might not be the audience for it. I don't know, guys. The LA bagels are really making a play for it.
This has been so fun. Thank you so much.
Now, what are your favorite bagels here? No, you guys, I'm not kidding. So many people are like, I know, but the bagels in LA. And I'm like, guys, I can't with it. But they're Montreal, they're Montreal or something, or they're like Canadian. What is it? It's something.
There's one in LA that's yummy. It's Courage, you know, Courage bagel.
Of course, it's Courage
really
bagel
good.
on Virgil.
But I'm not going to that for what I'm going to New York.
Okay, what bagels are we eating here?
Well, I can't remember. I just moved to Brooklyn, and I'm loving my neighborhood very much.
Are you?
And there's a bagel place that I've been going to very frequently on the corner that all I can see when I look up is bagel. So I'm now blanking on like what bagel it is.
Sure.
But I love that.
A person's name, maybe?
Yes, it's someone.
Sure.
It's someone's bagel.
Great.
And to me, that's always been my favorite New York bagel experience. Has been like whether I'm like rehearsing in Midtown and I go to the nearest bodega and get it. I think the more random the better. But like I'm not necessarily foodie enough of a person to like seek out the proper bagels like that you're supposed to see based on like the infatuation or TikTok. But like I love my local bagel.
Well, you got to stay away from the TikTok bagels. I know that for a fact.
Really?
No, I don't know. I just as a rule, I don't love waiting in line. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Well, then this is not for you. This place.
The place you go to in Brooklyn?
Yeah, because it's like I go in the morning when like everyone else in the neighborhood is going, and like there's always like a little bit of a line, but not like not a TikTok
bit of a line.
line.
But I'm like that TikTok line for a Swedish candy store. I'm like, please. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, not that.
You know what I'm talking about.
But that wasn't that controversial. That was okay.
Okay, no, I'm just curious. I love a sesame myself.
Delish.
I'm sesame or poppy.
Yes.
But poppy with the teeth. Now I'm getting older. My teeth are shifting. You know what I mean?
Your teeth are shifting?
Yes, your teeth. You just wait. You're younger than me. Your teeth shift. Please, guys, somebody tell him. Your teeth shift. You have no control over it. And then Invisalign. I've gotten Invisalign 3 times. I never wear it.
I still have. I still have my wisdom teeth. I got to get those out.
What?
Yeah. Never, I always like have a time coming up where I have to sing and I'm too afraid to do it. So
you know what's amazing though? I bet your mouth is big enough for them. Obviously.
Aww, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
It must be. It must be. Because if they're not impacted, you can keep them.
Totally.
That's what they say. Is there a dentist here?
Probably yes.
Do you have plans to score and/or create another Broadway show?
Well, 100%. One of my greatest dreams is to write a musical myself, so I definitely want to do that. And you can all hold me to it. I'm trying to be as patient as possible in terms of the idea. I think the hardest thing about a musical is like what is worthy of being musicalized. What's a story that can withstand or also be enhanced by the idea of musicalizing?
Well, I thought you should win an Oscar.
Well,
remember.
That's really nice. But I don't.
Theater camp, guys.
Camp
it's like what camp? What is it?
Camp Isn't Home.
Yeah, Camp Isn't Home is one of the greatest songs of all time.
That's nice. I think so too.
No, it truly is, and we sing it in my home all the time.
That was a great first exercise in writing a musical because it was like an encapsulated like parody sort of musical where there was like the guardrails.
Can we do that on a stage?
What, theater camp? Or you mean the
theater camp.
Or Joan Still the musical within theater camp?
I'm going either way, I'm in.
I'm trying so hard to resist adaptation because I think there's plenty of adaptation. So I'd really like to do something from scratch.
You know why people like adaptation? Because they like something they know. They like something they know.
Well, nobody knew what Dear Evan Hansen was, and then there you go. So
I know. I'm just saying, don't write it off, Ben.
Okay, I'm not writing off like taking something that exists in the world and like Gypsy being about like the story of this woman that existed, or like, you know what I mean? Like Into the Woods,
Sure.
repurposing fairy tales. Like, I'm not against like having a seed in the world. I just don't want to take like a film or something and make it into a musical.
Oh, no, I understand that. I meant just your film.
Oh, okay.
Just like straight up.
I'll consider it.
Those kids were so good.
So good. They're all like adults now.
It happens like that.
So fast.
Yeah.
The girls are like posting TikTok things and like selfies and stuff, and I'm like, you were just 8.
I know, it's wild.
I know. I hope they're okay.
They're gonna be fine.
Okay.
All right. Ooh, this is a good one. Of all the special guests on your Broadway residency, who were you most surprised that said yes?
It's a great question. It's a great question.
Some heavy hitters, honey.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm just going through in my mind. Casey, obviously, because I just think the world of her, but she is a friend, and so I was hopeful, but it still was amazing to me that she did it. Probably, God, and Cynthia's a dear friend too, which obviously anytime I get to sing with her feels like a privilege. But that I was hoping.
Have you seen Wicked yet?
No comment. All I'll say is go to it if you like things that are fantastic. But I think probably it's a tie with Sam Smith and Jennifer Hudson, just because Jennifer Hudson is like the busiest woman in show business and like has a talk show and like is like her voice is like a behemoth, and so I was like, maybe at some point we'll like be on the same award show, or like I'll see her across the wings, but like she's not gonna come and sing at my concert. So the idea that she showed up for me in that way was amazing. And then Sam, who I'm also friendly with, I think just exists. They exist in such a like I really idolize them, because when I was in high school and they were making music, they are one of the only real examples of what I was talking about at the beginning of like writing "Leave Your Lover, Leave Him for Me," like writing music that was expressly queer and like beautiful vocals forward and like emotional and vulnerable, and had no interest in like this sort of like apathetic cool factor. And I just like really admired them and tried to emulate them. So having them come was very, very surreal. That was amazing. I'll never forget that.
Ugh. And you remembered all the words to the song.
I did. That one I made sure that I did, and I did.
Who is your dream collab? Like if you could have one night only.
To sing with?
Yes, to invite on stage.
I mean, I know she will never leave Malibu, but Barbara. I would love
Ben?
that.
No, I'm kidding. Can you imagine? Once I did sit across from Barbara at that seafood restaurant in West Hollywood. Oh my God, with the two names, like, anyway, they were eating like, she was like eating seafood with her fucking gorgeous hands.
What do you even do? You just watch.
I had 2 small children and I was just like, couldn't contain it. And James Brolin was so like tan. And they were gorgeous.
Yeah, they are gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Here's one last question from Alicia, from Astoria. No, Austria? No.
Really, very different.
Wait, maybe Australia. I'm not even kidding.
Australia.
You could have just put down under. We would have gotten it. Did you find the process of writing songs different due to your perspective on love?
Yeah. I mean, I think in a very literal sense, it's just the thing that I was the most inspired to write about. I think coming from musical theater, as we've been saying, like, I say this all the time, like the philosophy is like you only write a song for a character. Like the character should only start to sing when something is like emotionally important or elevated or complex enough that there's like a reason to start singing as opposed to talking. And
is that what you feel like?
Yeah, that's what, especially for this album, like 9 times out of 10, the thing that made me feel that way was my relationship and being in love and all of that does to me and to my worldview. And so, yeah, I think it gave me like a real sense of purpose on this album.
Do you feel like it like sort of just comes through you in those moments?
Yeah, I mean, you have to have like 3 or 4 bad sessions for every good session. Like, not every song can like sort of flood out and like come magically. I think you have to muscle through some clunkers to like get those moments of like it just happens. And so But you can sort of feel the difference, I think. I think when you show up and it just happens the way that it should, and you come in with exactly what you want to write about, or a seed of something that you know is going to make a good song, like, those are the best days. There are some days, though, you show up and the inspiration doesn't strike and you got to write something, and so you write songs that live on your Dropbox forever.
And then maybe we'll get lucky and we'll hear them someday.
Yeah, that's true. I could put out just an album of, like, all my worst stuff. Be like, do you guys like this? I mean, like...
What if Honeymind is your musical? You know what I mean?
That's not a bad idea. I feel like I would have to do some addition.
Okay.
Like, because there's really only one voice, like there's one perspective in there, so I would want to supplement that with some other ones, but I think some of those songs could be good in musicals.
I do too.
Okay, well, this is food for thought.
Maybe we start there.
Okay, are you producing?
I'm producing the show, guys.
Thank you for coming.